What's up, guys? About another video. So I'm gonna give my take on the best PvP characters to work on and the ones that you shouldn't even worry about for PvP. Alright, so there's a couple of support characters. If you're like a lower account and you need some support for PvP, there are a couple that are instrumental in that. We'll go from like native tier 1s and native tier 2s. So with the native tier 1 characters that are kind of cheaper, you'll definitely need Ancient One. You'll need this character with this uniform, the Unleashed Mystic, because with the uniform, it gives off resistance and it gives off buffs. Alright, so it's not on the uniform, it's on her tier 2 passive. As you can see, it applies to all allies and increases all resistance, ignore dodge rate by 30%, and increases damage to all elements by 40%. So it increases all elemental damage. So if you built up your Jean Grey with the Dark Phoenix uniform, this would be a perfect fit right here. Ancient One would be a perfect support character because she increases all resistance. So you won't take as much fire damage, mind damage, so on and so forth. So she is a really good support character for PvP. And the CTP mainly that you would want to use is either an Insight or a Mighty Authority, because she's pretty decent also in PvP. So Ancient One will be a really good support character for that. And then also we're going to say going to go with Hela. Alright, so Hela, if you don't have the What If uniform, you could get her Asgard Invasion. But either way, she's a really good support character. She's a pretty good damage dealer too. It's kind of like a glass cannon. But with her, as you can see on her uniform effect, for the What If series, it applies to all allies. It gives her ignore dodge by 20%, and it increases damage to superheroes by 50 and 30% damage reduction from superheroes. So she gives increased damage to superheroes and damage reduction from superheroes. So if you keep running up against superhero teams, then definitely this would be a good support character for you with the What If uniform, or with the Asgardian uniform. As you can see, same thing right here. She just doesn't give you ignore defense, well, ignore dodge, but still a good character to work on, like I said. And plus, she's a really good damage dealer. With her, you can give her a Mighty Authority, or you can give her a hybrid build, a Mighty Destruction, which it gives guard break immunity and all that. So Hela will be another great support character for your roster for PvP. Alright, and those are tier 3 characters. Another one will be, if you're running a physical team or whatever, Colossus with the Hellfire Gala uniform is really good also, because of his 4-star passive. It applies to all allies. It decreased damage from reflect effect by 65%, and it has a physical reflect, and it has damage reduction from super villains by 50% and superheroes. So that is a really good passive. And I think he has a uniform effect too, not just for himself, but it's his 4-star passive is what you're looking for because of the damage reduction. So Colossus is actually a pretty good support. Also, you definitely want to give him like a Insight, because he is a support character. Alright, so those really are the 3 best support characters for PvP. And another one, if you're running like a symbiote team, Agent Venom is also a really good one. You definitely need his uniform, and you definitely need the artifact. If you got a 3-star up to a 6-star, it doesn't matter, because as you can see, it applies to symbiotes. So it increases basic damage dealt to enemy with 25% HP or higher, and it has a damage reduction by 20% on a 4-star artifact. So if you have a 3-star, I think it's 10%. So that applies to all symbiotes, which is really good. And then I think on his uniform effect, it gives off for symbiote allies, it gives them a decreased chain hit, and it increases their chain hit also, so which is pretty nice. So Agent Venom is also a good support character. All right, and then we have Icon, which free to play character, which is a really good damage dealer also, because she does have reflect. As you can see, 35% reflective energy damage received up to 50% of max attack, and she does have damage reduction, so which is very, very good. And as you can see, her tier 2 passive does give her skill damage, bonus damage, increases basic damage dealt with 4%. Well, enemy with 4% or higher, well, lower, so which is very good. She does have a p.v.p artifact, which I don't have, but it does give her additional HP, which is very good. So you could definitely use her for reflect. Also with Destroyer. Destroyer is also pretty decent for PvP because of the reflect he has. As you can see on his 4-star passive, he reflects 100% of energy damage received up to 150% of max attack. So that right there. And his artifact does give him restore HP equal to a certain amount of reflect damage dealt, and then he can also restore to a certain amount of HP with a 1-second cooldown. So and the optional CTP for him, you could use like a as you can see, I have a mighty egg, or you can just give him a patience. One of the two, doesn't matter. You're just using him for the reflect. All right, so those are kind of the support characters for PvP if you're like a lower account. But your main damage dealers for PvP that you definitely would consider. All right, we're gonna go to a couple right here. Well, you won't have Emma Frost if you're a low spending player because she does cost crystals. But let's see here. We have Ghost Rider with his Raised Return uniform, which is very nice. You can definitely build him for PvP or PvE. But if you have the artifact, you can definitely use him in PvP because of the undead passive. So, like Wolverine, Noel, Hela. Hela also needs her artifact also. So, if you have the artifact for Ghost Rider or Hela, you can definitely use him for PvP. So, he can work with a Rage also. But like I said, Ghost Rider is really good for PvP just because of that. And like I just said, Hela. Where is Hela at? Oh, right there. Like I said, if you have the artifact, which is the undead passive, that's really good to have. Another character for PvP. If you don't have a lot of the heavy hitters, will be Hulk. Hulk is okay for PvP. You definitely want to give him like a lot of HP, as you can see. And don't give him physical attack, all that, because all his skills are based on his HP. So as you can see, I have 4 heal Odin blessings. The rest are HP and dodge and crit rate. So you definitely want to give him a lot of HP. As you can see, I have over 200,000 HP. The best CTP to give him will probably be a Mighty Regen, just because of the HP. So as you can see, I have a Brilliant. So if you just have a Mighty, that'll work also. His artifact is increases HP by 25%, so it's a PvP artifact also. And you would definitely want his uniform to look like this: dodge, double HP, double dodge, and crit rate, stuff like that. So you definitely want to bump his HP up as high as it will go. So Hulk is a very, very good damage dealer in PvP for like lower accounts. Another character you would definitely want, but you have to have the artifact also. He has the undead passive. Is Carnage. Carnage is very good. Also, I have a Mighty Greed on mine, or you can give him a Mighty Authority or a Mighty Egg. If you want to go offense or defense, in which I went offense with the Greed. If you want to do defense, that would be a Mighty Authority. So Carnage is also a really good character for PvP. You definitely want the new one, especially if you have the artifacts. So most of these rely on their artifacts and so on and so forth. But if you do have them, then cool, build them for PvP until you start getting like Adam Warlock, Wolverine, Jean Grey, Silver Surfer, and the other characters I'm about to talk about. Wolverine is kind of the king of PvP for combat class. You definitely want to give him like Mighty Greed, or I've had a Mighty Conquest on him and I didn't like it, so I switched it back to a Mighty Greed. Or you can give him a Mighty Authority. And if you have the artifact, it's the undead passive also. So you definitely need the artifact and his newest uniform. Don't worry about the rest of them. This uniform is for PvP. That'll definitely work for him. As you can see, if you can, just give him a lot of HP and physical attack. Uru. Wolverine is one of the best with his 5th skill, which has iframe ignore. So he stays in the iframe a lot when he uses this skill, and he could take out any character just like that. It's really cool. Another PvP threat, which he is free, so it's a lot of playing GBR, but he is free. He does cost a lot of material. That would be Silver Surfer. So you definitely need the Void Knight uniform now. But Silver Surfer is a really good character for PvP. His artifact just increases damage to superheroes and supervillains, which is an okay PvP artifact. You can give him a Mighty Authority, or I think an Egg, one of the two, but a Mighty Authority will probably be your best bet with the steal effect. So Silver Surfer is a really good character for PvP. Also, really expensive, so just if you build up native tier 2s, just do one at a time. Try to manage your resources. Adam Warlock is another great native tier 2 character for PvP. He does cost crystals, so I would advise not to get him unless it's like Black Friday or the anniversary, which is coming up here in a couple weeks. So, and you definitely need the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 uniform. His artifact, same thing, recovers HP by a certain amount of percent when HP is below 99%. His best CTP is a Mighty or a Brilliant Energy because of the 2 skill. That 2 skill is where he has iframe ignore counterattack, so that's his bread and butter right there. So Adam Warlock is really, really good for PvP also. And then we have Jean Grey. Jean Grey is the queen of PvP. So if you definitely want to, she costs crystals with the epic quest. That's 6,600 crystals. So, but she's well worth it with the Dark Phoenix uniform. She could definitely work for both with Rage if you want to go PvP or PvE. Now, if you want to just go PvP, a Mighty Authority or Brilliant or Mighty Egg would be your best bet to go to. She's really good. Also, her artifact, same thing, increases basic damage dealt to superheroes and supervillains. But she's really good for PvP. And another support character that we just got a uniform for, but this uniform will probably be your best bet because this one is just lazy work by the devs. But with the uniform from the Obsidian armor, as you can see, it applies to all allies. It increases damage dealt to universals and damage reduction from universals. So that's really good. So he can work with and against universals. So on your team, it can help you out, and against the other team's universals. So that's really good because most teams use universals like Jean Grey, Silver Surfer, Thanos, so on and so forth. So he's a really good support character. And okay, he doesn't have nothing on that uniform. Another character great for PvP that is a tier 1 character, that would definitely be Spider-Man. So if you got him at level 80 or tier 4, then hey, Spider-Man is your man. We did get the artifact for free, which gives him a lot of dodge. So that's really good. The best CTP to give Spider-Man would be a Mighty Authority, just because of the damage reduction and all that. Because as you can see, he does have a guaranteed dodge, but he has the increased basic damage dealt to supervillains by 60%, which is really high. And he does have a 4-star passive, which gives him a 30% recovery of HP and invisibility when he's 50% below health, which is very good. And I think he does have iframe. Yep, iframe and knowing is 4 skill, which he has another heal on also. So that's really good. So Spider-Man will be another good choice for PvP. And then we have Madeline Pryor. If you got the epic quest for 7,700 crystals, she's a really good character for PvP, especially if we have the artifact also with the undead passive. Her best CTP would be a Mighty Authority, just because of damage reduction. So Madeline Pryor is definitely a good one. And then we have the Mad King Thanos. With this uniform, he is really good. I really want to get this guy tier 4. They changed his artifact also, which is really good. He has increased basic damage dealt to superheroes and villains, and they gave him an increase of HP. So that artifact is godly for Thanos, which is very good. The best CTP to give this guy would be a Mighty or Brilliant Authority, or maybe a Conquest, a Mighty Conquest. But this would probably be his best CTP, just because of the damage reduction and all that. So those are my takes on the best supports and the best characters from tier 1 to tier 2 for PvP. Like I said, if you farm Dimension Ribs to get the essence, and the generic artifacts, just crunch them down to get the essence, and just try to gamble for artifacts. And if you get lucky and get a couple that's has the undead passive, then you're good to go. So those are my takes on the best characters, and you have some worse characters for PvP, which there's not too many. The worst ones for PvP are World Boss Legends and the native tier 3s, which used to be godly. Now there's one that you could work on for PvP if you beat that world boss, and that's Gore. So Gore is another pretty decent character for PvP, but he's a world boss legend, so he's really expensive, really expensive. He has the same artifact as the rest, like Thanos, but he doesn't have the heal or whatever. His best CTP, I have a regen on mine, but you'll definitely give him a Mighty Authority. He does have Ignore iframe on the 2 skill. That's his bread and butter also. He does have extra pierce and damage reduction. So Gore is another good PvP character. Like I said, native tier 3 though, he's very expensive. Another native tier 2, which is out of the meta for PvP, but you definitely don't want to work on him now. That would be Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom used to run PvP, but now he's relegated to Otherworld Battle. He's more like a last resort, but I would not work on him until he gets a rework. Another character will be Molecule Man, which you don't want to work on if you got the Epic Quest. But he does have a really cool leadership where he ignores damage increase and decrease effect between self and opposing factions. And he has a decreased chain hit damage. And he does have a debuff removal. So he kind of cancels out like the supports and all that. So he does have a good leadership. And he does have damage decrease received from reflect effect by 50%. And he reflects all attacks from the 4-star passive, which is really good. That's really good. But you never see Molecule Man anymore, unless there's certain characters banned. But as far as that goes, I wouldn't build Molecule Man up because he is kind of soft. As you can see, defenses are really low. He doesn't have a uniform or anything. But Molecule Man is good, but I would not work on him until he gets a rework. And Kang, when this guy came out, he was supposed to be for PvP, but he's terrible for PvP. So they gave him everything they could, but he is just not good enough. Just not good enough. So he does have the iframe ignore, but he's just not worth it. Not worth it at all. He has the same artifact as anybody else. The increase of damage to superheroes and villains. So I would not work on him unless you do Otherworld Battle. And Sentry. Sentry is another character that was once meta for PvP, which is long time past. But like I said, if you're coming up and you need a good team, Sentry would help until you start getting up in Platinum and Vibranium. So Kang, Dr. Doom, Sentry, Molecule Man, I would definitely not work on for PvP. But the rest are really good. So that's my take on the PvP characters. So hit me in the comment box down below. Let me know what y'all guys think. Make sure if y'all work on any native tier 2s, try to hoard all your resources and just work on one character at a time. But as you know, there is a cheaper route with the tier 1 characters like Carnage, Spider-Man, Hulk, Ghost Rider. Just need his Halloween uniform. We have Hela, so on and so forth. So just hit me in the comment box down below. Let me know what y'all guys think. Make sure y'all smash that like button. And good luck building your PvP teams. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.